The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker and I'm here with my son Scott, as per usual. Hello, Scott.
My name's not Scott, as per usual.
Well, and stuff.
I'm all right, sorry. How are you?
And you know.
As well as that.
Okay. All things considered, I'm marginally, and that. So anyway, we are here to review films. Some may disagree with that, and so what we do is actually not review films.
To be honest, there's sometimes where I wonder if we review films.
Anyway, so we have two shorts and a long, as per usual, which is what we're doing and everything.
Sorry, for some reason my brain just suddenly went into a countdown moment.
Okay.
As in, like, when they tick out the numbers. Just for some.
Two shorts and a long.
Yeah. Don't know. It's been a long day.
Okay. Just look, yeah. Anyway, the first of our short films is a film from 2014 called I Heard It Too. Directors were Matt Sears and Tim Knight, and the cast is Rowena Beagley, Nina Beagley, and Sophie Judge. Now, there isn't a synopsis as such, but there's a basis story. The whole thing is basically comes from a two-line story, which is as follows. A girl heard her mum yell her name from downstairs, so she got up and started to head down. As she got to the stairs, her mum pulled her into her room and said, "I heard that too." So there you go. That's it. That's it.
That's the film.
Yeah. What did you think?
Do you know what? I really like this, actually. I will say as well that for once again, I'm amazed by the acting of the children in this.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Immediately, I have slightly worries is the fact that this film's either a very, very good way of sort of making them okay with what's going on in the world, or terrifying the absolute life out of someone.
Yeah, I must admit, it's one of the films I've seen recently where I've kind of watched it and thought, "Oh God, I hope she was all right after they made this."
Yeah, I did the same. I did the same thing. I sort of watched it and I was like, it really needs to put a disclaimer just at the end of the credits going, "She's okay."
Yeah.
Or something, because I sat there and I was sitting there watching it, and I realised afterwards that I had to release my hands because I was like, "What happened? Is she okay?" Because that was for anyone else that would have been genuinely terrifying, and for a girl, I would say probably 5, maybe 6.
Yeah,
that would have absolutely scared the life out of someone.
As you say, I mean, we've seen it quite often. This is another film that's got a really great performance from a child actor. They are really good.
The whole thing was like, you hear that, like, loads of people say don't work with children and actors, children and animals and stuff like that. But it's just like, this just proves the fact that there are a lot of amazingly accomplished children actors out there at the moment. That if they go on and carry on doing it, they're going to be amazing at their jobs.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really well made film. I mean, the
Yes.
acting's good. It's well made. The atmosphere of the film is
Oh,
really good. It just
yeah.
it's so on edge, you
The
know.
camera angles as well, I thought were very well done. Like the cinematography of it to
Yeah,
actually get some of the shots and some of the angles, I thought were amazingly done.
yeah. I know. I mean, I just thought it's a really good film. Really
Mm,
well made, interesting to watch, and it's got a good strong story and strong
yeah.
acting. It's great. I love it.
As I say, it's just like as much as I love this film. Like, just the child acting in it is just what sold it for me. It's the fact that
Absolutely.
saying she like you can normally sort of tell with a lot, especially with younger kids, the fact that they're distracted by other things. But it almost genuinely looked like a real life thing. The fact that the
Well,
terror
yeah.
and the fear that she was feeling, and
I,
especially when her mum disappeared.
well, that was part of what worried me. Part of what worried me was like, did they actually tell her that it was not real, or did she think this was really happening? You know,
Yeah,
because it comes across that way a bit in a couple of places.
it's just like it's the end bit, like the cinematography and I suppose the visual effects as well for the
Yeah,
face. But even that has got to have some sort of effect, even if it's just a mask that they started using to get the kid into. It's got to do some sort of mental damage to that kid.
yeah. I did. Well, as you say, I hope at the end of it she was all right because
Yeah,
it is quite a kind of
might just see if we can get in touch with her and say, just look, just clear something up for me. Is she okay?
everything okay. Yeah. Okay, on to our second short film. Now, this was one that I was contacted by the director asking if we could watch it and do a review of it. I do believe that they have made a follow up to this, which could be interesting to see. This is a film from 2013 and it's called Leaf Blower Massacre. The
Sequel called Rake Massacre by any chance?
uh,
It's a sequel called Rake Massacre.
No, I think it's probably called Leaf Blower Massacre 2. I don't know. The director is Anthony Cooney, writers Anthony Cooney and Josh Stevenson. The cast is Anita Nicole Brown, Shavar D. Clark, Anthony Cooney, Martin Sean Cooney, Patrick Anthony Hosian, Miguel Perez, Carla Shaw, and Mariel Taran. The synopsis for this says axe, chainsaw, wood chipper. There's a new yard tool to be used for evil, and only one man has the twisted passion to make it a reality. Witness the beginning of a madman's killing spree that occurs once every year when the leaves begin to fall.
Oh,
Oh, this is great. I think it's a great bit of silly. I mean, it's obviously a spoof of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
yeah.
but it has some really great nods to the action that's in those film. I mean, the bit where he's swinging the leaf blower around, just like Leatherface does at the end of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is brilliant.
I
And
think,
I think it's obviously been made by people who are fans of that film.
yeah, it's been made by fans, people that are fans of it, but also ones that want to just make a little a spoof film, but one that I think that they've done very well. And I love the
Yeah.
fact that, yeah, he was going on this killing spree, but he had to be near a plug socket. It's not even like ones that like you could get now, which are like the petrol ones or the battery operated ones. Plugged in leaf blower. I just thought it was hilarious, but it's just I love it. I just thought it was hilarious.
It's the way that when he attacks people, blowing the leaves up off the floor at them, and they were like, ah!
What I love about it is the fact that I've got to admit, I will say I've got to give kudos to them to the fact that they look like they've done this in the middle of the day
Yeah,
on a busy street as well. So that, it's probably people around them that going, "What on earth is going on?" But
yes.
as I said, it was just hilarious. I love the sort of chase scene as well.
The chase scene
The
was
chase
brilliant.
scene was the best, but
It
I
was
just
brilliant.
I just loved it. I thought it was
But
hilarious. Like
I
it
liked
was a,
the kind of the the playing up of the stereotypical horror film characters.
Yeah,
Ones you kind of go, oh, I don't like them. They get, oh, well, let's hope they get killed.
yeah. It was definitely like they were definitely like sort of played up and over exaggerated a bit, but I think it's just it works.
Yeah,
It
it
just
was.
it was funny. This is the bit like admittedly like there wasn't a lot of gore or anything like that. It was that right mix of sort of that comedy horror mix was good. It was the
Yeah,
fact that yeah, it was meant to be. It was like whether or not it was meant to be serious or not, but it was a spoof one. It had that little bit of comedy, but it was still good to watch.
it was. I really enjoyed watching it. Like, to be honest, I was laughing quite a lot when I was
Yeah,
watching it.
I obviously when you told me about the fact that like the leather face bit and like the sort of him swirling the leaf blower over his head, I was like, that's gonna be interesting. And then saw it, and I was like, that's just. I honestly had to pause the film because I was just laughing so hard. I just loved everything about this film.
So did I. I thought it was great. It was really great to, and I mean, as I say, as far as I know, they've either made or are making a sequel. So that's got to be worth
Oh, it's
watching.
just yeah, it's got to be worth watching.
It's
Even if we
definitely.
don't review it, it's just got to be worth watching.
Oh yes, definitely. I would definitely want to watch it.
Yeah,
Whether we review it or not, it's another matter. But I definitely would want to watch it. Definitely. So, okay, right, on to our feature film, which this week is quite a rare one, actually. To be honest, it's quite rare to be able to watch this. It's a 1985 film. Although I'm a bit confused by this because it came out originally in 1985, but I think it wasn't released
yeah.
in the
It was
UK
released
till
in America.
86.
Yeah, it was released in America in 1986. Oh, sorry, 1985.
Yeah,
So and then but was then initially released over here, but only on DVD
yeah.
in 2004.
But it was released over here in 1986.
Yeah, but it was then sort
Yeah.
of remastered. If
Um, but yes, so it's a 1985 horror film called House. It's a horror comedy called House. It was directed by Steve Miner, who has made a lot. He directed a lot of other films, horror films, and that sort of thing, including Halloween H2O, which I actually thought was quite a good one, to be honest. The writers are Fred Decker, who wrote the story, who also wrote the original story for The Predator.
yeah, I've got to admit there were some very weird sort of people. The people that have gone on and done the things and it surprised me what some of these have gone on and done and
Well, yeah, I mean, some of them,
what else they've done.
yeah. Um, the screenplay was written by Ethan Wiley, who's done a lot of TV stuff more than anything else, a few films. Now the cast is William Catt, who a lot of people might know as being the young guy who was kind of the love interest, if you like, of in the original Carrie film. Uh,
Yeah,
he was in there. What I did think was really funny is he's gone on to do lots of other films and TV stuff. And one of the things I did think was funny was the fact that he actually appeared in a couple of episodes of the TV series House.
yeah. I thought it was quite fun. Yeah, it's
Also, who's next? George Wendt, who is best known for playing Norm in Cheers.
yeah,
Um, Richard Mole, who I don't. There might be a few people out there that remember. There used to be a great American comedy series on the early hours of the morning called Night Court, and he used to play the court bailiff in that. He was kind of like the guy in the uniform we used to think about that. He played a character and it's called Big Ben, which I thought was good.
yeah,
Then we've got Kay Lenz, who we've actually covered before because she was in Prisoners of the Lost Universe.
yeah,
We reviewed. Yeah. Uh, then we've got Mary Stavin, Michael Ensign, Eric Silver and Mark Silver, who were the two boys who played the young boy in the film. Susan French, Alan Altree, been in loads of TV stuff. Stephen Williams, Jim Calvert, Mindy Sterling, Jason Kane, Billy Beck, Steve Suskind, and Kurt Wilmot. Kurt Wilmot played the skeleton version of Big Ben.
mm.
quite cool. Now, the thing about this, there were a few other people in it and that sort of thing, but one thing I would say about this that I noticed, I don't know if you noticed it, is the stunt coordinator on this film was
Yes,
Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder. That's I've got to admit. When I looked at it and I was like, after I watched the film, I then went through it and I was like, he was in it. What? And I went through it and I was like, and then looked at the stunt coordinator. I was like, no, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, he was the stunt coordinator for this, and I mean, he's probably best known for being in the some of
Oh
the
yeah, he's best known for playing Victor
Halloween.
Crowley and Jason and doing a lot of. He's done a lot of stunt work. He worked his way up to doing it all, so that's how he got that. But he's done a
He's
lot
been
of
in
stuff.
so many horror films
Yeah,
as
if he's not the stunt coordinator in it, he's in it because he's got that build for the person they're looking for, who's the killer.
absolutely,
He's in it one way or another. He's either in it as in front of the camera or behind the camera, doing all the work for it.
absolutely. So, right, the synopsis for this film, I don't think really sells it, to be honest, but the synopsis is a troubled writer moves into a haunted house after inheriting it from his aunt.
Yeah.
Now, I saw this when it first came out over here on VHS videotape, which at
Okay.
my age, and I haven't seen it since, to be honest.
Okay.
Um, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed watching it. It was as good as I remember it being,
Okay.
which was cool. Um, I One of the things I like about this is the fact that unlike a lot of other, there were a lot of like films in the 1980s that were about haunted houses or uh, houses that were kind of possessed, or there were people, there were things in them that were kind of like some
Yeah.
kind of, either the house was built on a ancient Indian
Yeah. You
burial
got you got ones
ground,
like
or
Poltergeist and
yeah,
sort of stuff like
Amityville
that. Yeah.
horror, all that kind of thing. But what I liked about this one is they didn't try to explain what it was. All it was there was some entity in the house that took the things within the people that lived there and turned them against them, and effectively have made them kill themselves up till now.
Yeah. It's well, what I think it might explain it later on because obviously, like Poltergeist and like this has got quite a lot of sequels.
Oh yes,
It's got quite a lot. Probably a lot more than it should need. But
absolutely.
see,
Must admit, I've never seen any of the others. I only ever
no,
saw
I,
this one.
I sat there and I read through ones. Then I was looking at it and I didn't even know this one existed. But
Yeah,
it's see, I think this is going to be where it's different now. I thought some of the visual effects were okay ish and probably would have been all right for the time. But I don't know. It felt to me like the comedy aspect of it was trying too hard.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Again, don't get me wrong. Like, there were bits of it that I thought were funny, and the bits of it that were okay. But I thought it seemed to be most in places trying too hard.
I think my only problem with it was the fact that there were some bits where instead of it being a nice kind of flow between the horror and the comedy, there were some bits where you had like horror comedy,
Yeah,
and it was just kind of like, oh, hang on,
yeah.
it
It's the
didn't
same.
kind of.
It didn't it flowed okay in places, but saying like you said, it sort of flowed and then just stopped dead. And it was almost that sort of after a couple of times that happened, you're like, well, this is just it's gonna keep going, and it's not. It needs to
Yeah,
have the continuous flow, I think.
I mean, George Wendt was kind of like the comedy
Yeah,
character, if you like. But there were other elements. One of the things I really liked about this, though, was and it's kind of odd, was this kind of bizarre mix of characters that are sort of like appear in the house. There
yeah.
were
I've got a
some
bit.
really weird things going
Oh, it's just the
on.
fact that I wonder where it was going to go because of the fact that obviously you see him hallucinate with what's that little stuff that he sees going on like earlier on with his son and then his aunt, and I
Yeah,
was like, I wonder where this is going to go. And then the first, I don't even know if you could call it a creature. The first thing that he sees that bursts through the door in the cupboard, I
yeah.
was like, okay, that's a big jump. But yeah, the difference in ghouls or ghosts or whatever they were
There was
There was no sort of consistency to it.
it was such a random mix of
It's it
things.
was almost like they sat there in the costume department and went, "We've got five costumes here that have nothing to do with each other. We need to throw them in."
Yeah,
And it just seemed all over the place with the creatures. But I think that sort of helped as well with the whole not explaining where it came from or what it was, because
yeah.
it wasn't, oh, it's definitely ghosts. This is what it is. This is what it was
Well,
built on, like Poltergeist is built on a burial ground or something. Because it was so varied, it's harder to explain.
yeah, what I liked as well was the fact that, I mean, it could have been done quite simply as being sort of like he is writing a book about his memories of being in
Vietnam.
Vietnam, and he's therefore haunted by the ghosts of people that he was with in
Yeah.
Vietnam. And that could have been quite a straightforward, basic film, which really might have been a little bit dull. But having these odd bits where these weird characters suddenly come into things, and you kind of go,
It,
what the hell is
it was
going
I
on?
think as well the flow. Like for me, the first once this sort of clock about what's going on with the different jumps around, I think was all right. But the first bit where he's sitting down at the computer and then all of a sudden it jumps to him remembering what happened in Vietnam, and I,
Yeah.
I sat there like, has this suddenly become a war film? And it was a bit confusing the sudden jump.
But I
But
mean,
I just don't
I
know. There were certain bits of it I did like. Certain, I'd say, the comedy aspect for me, in places, to seem like it tried too hard.
yeah.
But
I mean, I know what you mean about the physical effects and that sort of thing, but I really liked the makeup
oh,
and effects and that.
yeah,
I
don't
thought
be,
they were
don't be
really
wrong.
good.
They're
And
not like
I especially liked the one bit I especially liked was when he smashes the glass in the kitchen cabinet, in the bathroom cabinet, and then you got to climb through, and it's like this huge sort of
oh yeah,
space.
don't be wrong. Like there's certain bits of it I think were very well done and have stood the test of time. But I
Yeah,
think there's odd little bits that just sort of, I don't know if it's because of the fact that obviously because of the age where, but it was sort of, mate. I looked at it and I thought that could have been tidied up a little bit, but
yeah.
not like in a
I
bad
think,
way. But it's just I think it's just where the fact that is, I think it's not. There's certain little bits that haven't stood up to test of time, and
yeah.
because of how far things have come now, that it's sort of you
I
look at
think,
it and go, yeah, that's a bit obvious.
yeah. I mean, the thing, I think the thing we've got to remember is that at the time, I mean, it was before CGI, and
Yeah,
it thought like green screen was quite a new thing as
yeah,
well.
no, no, no.
So it was quite
That's what I'm saying. That's just what I'm saying. Like the first creature you see
yeah,
was amazing because it was the fact that it was like all morphed and all that, and it looked slimy without being over the top, and it looked amazing. But I think there's a certain little bits within it that I'm like, well, you could have just whether or not I know that at the time they couldn't really like reshoot everything over and over and over again, and
yeah,
there's certain bits that you just sort of had to let it be. But it's sort of I looked at it and I'm like that could have just teensy little bit of tidying up would have
yeah,
been fine.
yeah,
But as I said, eh, I would say though, for it, as much as I'm slating it, it's not a film where I sat at when I sat at the end of it and looked at it and went, "Well, that was time wasted."
yeah. No, I mean,
Like, it's,
I think it's a
we've
good
watched
film
films
overall.
where I've sat there and I'm just like, I would rather physically damage myself than have to watch that again.
Yeah,
But there's this one I've sat there like, okay, yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's a family film, but it's not one that it's not one that would sort of if it was on, I'd have to hurry and turn over because of people who are squeamish or anything. It's one that I'd say it's a late night sort of. If it's on, you can watch sort of film.
yeah. I mean, I enjoyed watching it again because it kind of I mean I don't know if I felt the same way as I felt when the first time I saw it, but I watched it and kind of got to the end and thought I enjoyed watching that. That was it was good fun to watch it again. Um,
Mm.
it it's a bit like this may sound really weird. It's kind of a horror equivalent of watching something like the first Jumanji film, or you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah,
That film
it's
where
that.
you don't
It's
want to
almost
watch
that sort. It's that nostalgia moment. I think it's that.
you don't want to watch it
That's
too often, but
yeah.
when
It's
you
that.
watch it, you kind of go, "Oh, that's a good film. I like
Yeah,
that."
I'd say it's not something you could. I would say that you can watch like once a year or something. But I'd say every other year, maybe if he's on, you can sit there and go, "Oh, I haven't seen it in a while." That
Yeah,
sort of film to sit there and to sort of. And well, I think it's one of the films that you can sit there and rewatch and just go, I don't remember. And it's sort of one of the bits you remember little bits, but
Yeah.
and then you sort of remind yourself as the film goes on, and it brings back that moment of, oh, like that feeling when you first watched it.
I must say, I watched a lot of horror stuff in the 1980s, and this is one I kind of remembered fondly as being kind of, I enjoyed watching it. And what I was worried about was that I was going to watch it again and think, oh no, that's actually quite rubbish. But I
Yeah,
didn't. I actually enjoyed watching it again. It was good to watch it. So
yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely give
That,
that a go. I'm not sure about any of the sequels. Haven't seen any of them. I might have
no,
to see if I can dig some out and see what they're like.
looking at one of the posters, I would say it's very, very close to being pulled from Poltergeist, though. It's a little picture. It's one of the critters or something standing in front of a TV.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a bit close. But I'd say it's for this. I'd say I wouldn't go out for me. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. But if it was on, I'd quite happily watch it.
Yeah, if it was like late night movie and there was
Yeah,
not a lot
late
else
night,
on, you've
just
got to go,
flicking through
oh
the
yeah,
channels and it's on. Yeah, flicking through the channels and it's on. You're like, oh yeah, this would be good.
yeah,
Not so I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. But if it was on a late night and just sit there and watch it and just sort of mong out to, it'd be good.
yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. Right, so there we are. There are three films. I Heard It Too, which is we thought was a great short film, definitely worth checking out. Leaf Blower Massacre, which again is a great film. Just check it out because it's great fun to watch it. It's a good.
Yeah, he's if you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you just want to have a little laugh, it's a good film.
It is a good film. It is really good, really well done. And House, which we kind of disagreed on a few bits, but on the whole,
Yeah, I
it's not a
think
bad
overall,
film.
yeah, overall, I'd say it's not a bad film, but
Not a
it's
bad film, and it's good fun to watch it on a
yeah.
late night if you've got nothing else to do. Okay. Thank you very much, Scott, for your input and everything.
Okay.
Next week we will be back with two more short films and an old science fiction movie.
Oh no, this is the one I think it is
1950s science fiction movie, Earth versus the Flying Saucers.
in color.
In color.
Normally it's in black and
The
yeah.
colorized
Normally
version.
originally it was in black and white, but this is a
The colorized
colorized version.
So, yes, we will be doing that. So thank you to everybody out there for watching, listening, tuning in, chilling out, and generally going,
Generally swaying from the side to side.
yeah, and going, eh.
Yeah.
Until then, and with, are you? Oh, probably. Anyway, and so, without further ado, or any ado at all, we are, and so therefore, bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.